contained is, you know, actually being contained, not being able to do stuff with your units on the other side of the map.
I'd have to go back and rewatch the replay. I wonder if his command center was later than we're used to seeing with the 2 racks.
It wasn't that late. It was more that the fact that he couldn't, you know, normally you don't expect links to be there.
Yeah.
Because normally you have bunkers making sure that those links just can't run around.
He should have looked at his barracks and landed them on the bottom of the ramp behind those rocks.
So create a wall.
Yeah.
Oh, not just that. Yeah, that would be sick. But I mean, like, he sent those Rexes home, which is fine. But maybe he could have used those Rexes as a wall off. Because right now...
yeah, he definitely could have walled us natural with the barracks. We actually talked about that in the game. That might have made things a little bit easier. I don't know, man. It's tough. 2 racks is definitely not the godly strat that it once was. Remember 2 racks on Metalopolis close position? Oh.
Oh, Ben says. Oh,
dude,
full of frustration.
You have not been frustrated until you've played against that.
You know, I really love close position Metalopolis. When I played against Darren, I sent over my first 3 probes. I never let them get a Rex. It was really great. People struggled back then, man, with probe rush.
You have no shame.
Well, it's not the first 3. It's like you go up to 10 supply, then you do it.
You definitely belong on Team Root.
Over here on the left top side of Habitation Station is of course our red Zerg player Aces Scarlett. It looked a little dicey, a little grim for her in game 2, but she came back once more. Ben, over here on the right top side of the map is of course our blue Terror and Root for Root. Masa. It would be strange if Masa wasn't there. And I say once more, we see 1 Rex, we see a 2nd Rex. Of course this is a much more economical version and he's still producing SCVs, but it's safe to say he still wants to make something happen with this.
So, Habitation Station has the feature of the Shakur's Plateau-esque natural ramp, where you can do evil things with bunkers and basically wall off that ramp.
If you guys wonder what we're talking about, just Google Illusion Bunker Micro on YouTube. There's a great video of Illusion, the teammate of Masa, who also, they're good friends with each other. They share a lot of strategies. So.
Select also became quite famous for utilizing that kind of a strategy. Scarlett sends out the drone scout, sees the early bunker already, so she's going to begin her preparations. That's a great spot for the bunker. That SCV is unassailable.
So protected.
And second SCV going to rear his head as
Oh,
well.
a lot of drones being pulled this time though, Ben.
That's the correct reaction in my opinion, to just completely shut it down. And Masa, he's got the 2... Oh, losing an SCV is bad news. He's got the 2 barracks, but you know, it's not the...
They're not as
close, so it makes us feel like maybe he doesn't need to commit huge to it. Scarlett even drops the spine crawler this time.
I think with all these SCVs being here, I do think that if Masa does not kill a lot over here, or at least does not get this bunker up on the high ground, which I don't think is going to go up, and here are those Zerglings already. The Marines are just a little late to the party. I think if Masa doesn't do anything with this, he's in a lot of trouble.
I think you are absolutely correct. He's already down in Harvesters. He's going to try once more on the bunker, but there's going to be a spine crawler.
Scarlett even producing 2 drones, man. Thinking she's out of the woods already. Has to be a little bit careful. She's almost there.
She's out of the woods with the spine and the queen. There's no...
she's almost there.
There's no break in it. And there's the queen. There's the spine. Quick reposition.
Yeah. Well, the moment he's repositioning, this queen is going to take a lot of damage. She will get micros. But that bunker will never go up. That will never see daylight. And it seems like Scarlett has stabilized in a much better position than the previous game.
I think Masa needs someone to sit him down and be like, Masa, son, listen.
Perhaps he just...
He needs an intervention. You've got to stop 2-raxing.
Perhaps he just doesn't feel that confident in a long game against Zerg. I mean, game 1 was a little... Like, not cheat, it was strategic cheat.
Yeah, well, I mean, he got so much more mileage out of the Hellions than he can ever count on getting every single time, right?
Yep.
So that certainly set him up very, very nicely. But he set that up by keeping everything nice and hidden, and he's not dead if those Hellions don't do that damage, and he just moves into the macro game. Either way, it looks like Masa does want to continue to play the contain game as he's built this bunker. We call this the QXE bunker because he's the first player that we ever saw do this, putting a bunker just at the edge of Zerg Creep to keep Creep from spreading. Scarlett, one of the most prolific Creep spreaders in the game of StarCraft.
He did that on Ohana. I remember that. It was fun. When we first saw that, we were like, oh, it's like a really random
What is this stupid bunker? 8 minutes later, it's like, Creep hasn't spread at all because of this bunker. It's genius. QXE actually really teased me for that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He should have.
He was right to do so. So we see Masa taking advantage of it here. Scarlett is getting another fast layer, perhaps 2-base Muta, akin to her countryman Kane, who likes to play 2-base Muta and ZVT all the time.
Masa's gonna transition into a triple orbital, which I don't mind that much, Ben. Yes, he's gonna give up a lot of map control, but he would give those up anyways. Like, everything that he could possibly do would have been very late, so he might as well just try to catch up in an economic game. And, you know, with 3 orbitals, he's still going to be, he's down 16 workers right now, but, you know, 3 orbitals, I've seen him do crazy things and just come back from
It's not just going to be 3
workers.
orbitals, it's going to be 3 orbitals, and one of them mining on a gold base.
That's gonna take a while, don't you think so?
Maybe, I could just be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think that he has any intention on getting the gold in the near future. I think he just wants to produce 3 SUVs at a time, and then Valval wants to drop 3 mules, and maybe Scarlett with one of them.
Scarlett's lair is finishing, and I believe we'll be seeing a spire going down any second now, as she's going to be making her way up to that Mutalisk style that she is very well known for.
The Spire is such a small building when it starts, but it has such deadly consequences. I think like when you build a Spire, it should have been like this massive cave where Mutalisk are hiding within, rather than this small bulb of destruction.
This big hole in the creep that goes on deep underground, and the mutas come flying out of it.
Yeah, like gargoyles or vampire? No, bats. Bats. That's the word I was looking for.
Gargoyles and vampires are things that might live in caves.
I mean, gargoyles are basically bats. So.
Kinda.
In Warcraft 3, we consider them as bats.
I mean, they're stone statues that come to life.
Like a bat hanging from the ceiling. It's just not covered in concrete.
We'll agree to disagree.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you. Just showing some love to the gargoyle, the forgotten unit of Warcraft 3.
There was a really cool cartoon called Gargoyles that was on in the 90s that is on YouTube now. I started watching it. I love cartoons.
Everything is on YouTube these days, man. Bunker is still here, but Creep has made its way out of the bases. Scarlett was able to drop some Creep tumors from the high ground. Masa doing a reasonable job so far in trying to catch up
economically.
Yeah, economically.
He's up to 40 harvesters. Basically has his 2 base saturation. Still hasn't done anything with that 3rd command center. He's being very safe.
I mean, he's building SUVs. That's something.
Yeah, but he hasn't taken it anywhere to establish another expansion. Scarlett will be expanding immediately after breaking the contain. Something she could have done a while ago, but she too was playing it as safely as possible, not wanting to come down that ramp and run into something potentially game-ending. So
we know that's kind of how she loves to play anyway, since you already said it, and Kane likes to do this kind of stuff too. It's not like this very urgent rush to go up to 3 bases immediately. If the situation allows you to stay on 2 bases for a while, then just do this god ASAP. +1 air weapons being researched as well.
And Masa was not expecting this at all. Muta's finding an undefended mineral line. They're going to pick off a couple of workers. And this is great for Scarlett. When you give Scarlett this kind of momentum, it is tough to bounce back from. Immediately turrets are going to start going down, but Scarlett's first 5 mutas already managing to get more than 5 kills, 7 kills on those mutalisks thus far.
He also got combat shield before Stim, so it's going to take a long time before Stim finishes up, which is going to be relatively annoying in dealing with
And Masa, I think, maybe hating life a little bit here. He was building up Hellions behind this instead of making lots and lots of Marines. And
he's still going to make a push. He's going to make a combat shield push. This is a push. 7 banings are morphing right now on the side of Scarlett.
This feels like an ill-fated push to me, Kev. Stim's nowhere near complete. +1 is nowhere near complete. Hellions and Marines are both good units, but
on creep against
banelings, Zerglings, and mutas too.
And Queen. So on the rest of the you have to respect the Queen.
And Static D, man. There's a couple spine crawlers as well. It's all going to be very tricky. And if Masa is not incredibly careful, he could find this army crushed.
He found at least a sweet spot, which is not covered in creep, but Stim's still only halfway down. +1 is, finishing up in 30 seconds, but with all these banings and above all baning speed finishing up soon, it doesn't matter how good you are, not even Masa is going to be able to split against that, so he's just going to have to back off. He did force out a lot of units, but Scarlett's already at 66 runs, so it's not like this slows her down that much.
I like the game sense from Masa, just pushing out, killing creep tumors, and then pulling back. I hope that he does pull back, as you see the mutas flying into the army there.
Scarlett has 3 drones too many in her main and metro and 6 too few at his turn.
So sloppy. So bad.
No, it's just like a small thing.
Yeah.
But I guess that's not just stuff going on.
Perfect number of drones, but not perfect saturation, as the banelings are going to manage to get some great connections. That's just a perfect fight for Scarlett. And I'm always so amazed at how players of Scarlett's caliber get those great engagements, and mine never look anything like that. Just a brilliant fight there for Scarlett. Crushes the army of Masa, who has taken a 3rd base, but is going to have quite a hard time defending it now that Scarlett has taken back 100% map control.
It doesn't get much better for her, Ben. That was perfect. Right now, Scarlett up 50 supply. Doesn't really matter what she does. She's even dropping some free over here on the skull base as well. Mila's gonna fly in to miss the turret, but she can afford it. This is a great comeback by Scarlett, Ben, because it looked definitely rough in game 2 on Polar Night, but she came back from the dead.
Yeah, and now suddenly poised to move on to the winners match. 143 supply against 97. Masa's not dead yet. He's going to have to weather the storm for a little while. And if he can win a couple of fights, he could start to bounce back, but it will be difficult as Scarlett has absolute control of the skies, a much larger ground army.
Masa sees so little as well. He has absolutely zero map vision. And it's something that's so frustrating. When you play against the Zerg and you see nothing, you often know when you're in trouble. Whether you play Protoss or Terran, it doesn't really matter. Things looking grim for Masa. So we might see another ZVT, Ben, in the winning bracket match between Scarlett and Hart.
Scarlett wins here. We'll see at least 2 more ZVTs. And perhaps even a third at the end of things. Masa's been practicing the ZVT.
He's been practicing the Turek.
A little bit of Banelings and Zerglings action into the third base as we see good control from Masa, splitting his Marines well. Managing to lose not too much. A couple of SCVs falling, but mostly very recoverable. Scarlett is getting Hive. You know what Scarlett hasn't gotten, Kev?
Burrowed Baneling.
Can't believe it.
I can. I think she's doing this on purpose.
Scarlett just hates me. It's unfair.
No. She looked really happy when she won that game at Red Bull.
Why couldn't this be Vibe?
She shared her happiness with you.
Vibe uses all of my strategies. Might be why he's not in WCS anymore.
Oh. Vibe had a reasonable run at the MLG tournament as well.
He's had years of success. Vibe, one of the North American.
Vibe and
greats.
Scarlett were pretty much the story of 2012. I think that's very safe to say.
They had a pretty cool little rivalry going 1-2. And
look at this one Widow Mine betting this in these paintings. These paintings should not get a whole lot done, but will somehow still connect with a few Marines, and that one Hero Marauder was a little late to save the day. A couple of Widow Mines being picked off. Scarlett just in absolute control of this game. Of course, Masa, if this goes on, he will eventually be able to max out. I'm just afraid that the entire map will be covered in creep, like we know that Scarlett is capable of doing.
A couple things that we really have to applaud Scarlett for, not just the creep spread. Look at the Overlord positioning around the map. There's not a drop path that it could possibly ever be unseen. Masa cannot surprise Scarlett with anything. Every medevac will be seen. She's got perfect vision.
This is why, like, if you look on the other side of the map, you just click on Masa's vision. Masa sees absolutely nothing. This is terrifying to play against Zerg. When your games look like this, then you know that you're in a bad position.
He's asking himself, how many bases can she possibly have right now? The answer is about 5. As Scarlett is going to roll in for a huge game-ending attack. Banelings do find good connections with a lot of the Marines. Every single Marine getting touched by the Baneling in some capacity as this expansion is forced to lift. The Mute is overhead, able to easily overwhelm what remains on the ground. Masa's reinforcements streaming down the ramp, and that will buy him a little bit of relief.
This was a fantastic game by Scarlett. She did everything right early on. She denied that bunker from going up, and after that, if you give Scarlett the time to do whatever she wants to do, you know you're going to be in trouble, and she just did a great job doing so. I wonder though, Ben, do you think it was right to get Combat Shield before Stim if you're Masa?
I don't think so. I don't think that whole Combat Shield push made a whole lot of sense.
No, it's not.
He didn't lose anything with it, but...
Not necessarily just the push, but just the fact of... Do you think he was maybe worried about a big Zergling Baneling counter? But he had all these Rexes over here, so... I mean, how many Banelings can you really make of 2 bases? That's the only reason why I can imagine he would prefer to get Combat before Stim. Especially if you upgrade them 1 by 1. Like, if Stim is like 30 seconds later, obviously I don't mind it that much. But right now, I think if he would have had Stim, he would have taken less damage from the middle lane.
GG. Scarlett cleans it up. And Kev, I think just to come back to your final point there. 1, I agree. But 2...